All right, we're on part 13 of this module on leading change, which is the final principle in Kotter's model of leading change, which focuses on instituting cultural change. What does that mean and how do we do it? So we've done all the rest, or focused on all the rest of these principles of leading change, creating a sense of urgency, building a guiding coalition, forming a strategic vision and plan, enlisting and engaging people with communication, enabling people for action, generating some short-term wins, and then learning and growing and sustaining our change over time. Now it's time to see, can we actually institute this change as a cultural change within our organization or our ministry? So what does it mean to institute cultural change? Basically means that we have successfully implemented a change such that that change is going to continue happening into the future, into the ongoing, unforeseeable future. It's not a change that just happened one time and we're happy and we celebrated, but never happens again. People don't continue doing it. A cultural change that we institute within a ministry or an organization is something that has become a normal way of life, a way that we do things within our ministry. If you can accomplish that, you've instituted a cultural change. So how do we do that? Well, again, changes need to become a part of the core culture of your team or organization. How do you make changes become a part of how you do things? Here's some ideas, some suggestions. One is to remember to talk about your vision every day. As a change leader, you can't talk about the vision too often. Reflect back and refer back to the overall vision of the ministry and the team as often as you can, because this is a part of your vision relates to the change you're trying to make, right? So the change relates to the overall vision. And if you can connect the two, you're clarifying in people's minds why this change is important and how it helps to achieve the final vision. Another thing to do is tell success stories as often as you can. So we're trying to implement some sort of change. We're trying to do something new and different and great. Well, as people try to do those things, tell the stories of what happened. We did it. This person tried it. We did it this one time and it went great. Yay, that's awesome. Tell those stories. So with our case study, Joe got his visa. Let's keep reminding people, telling people the story of how Joe got the visa through the foundation, how it worked, right? And how successful it was and how easy it was. Keep telling that story. And then when the next person gets their visa successfully, you have another story you can tell about how they did it and how it went well. Hopefully you don't have too many negative stories, but you tell the success stories, right? As often as you can. This is how it worked and the result of it. Also, publicly recognize your change agents. So this is back to the second principle of building your guiding coalition. That's your change team. You have change agents that are on your team, people who are positive and about the change and who are helping to encourage and influence others towards that change. They're your change agents. You need to recognize them and appreciate them and honor them and thank them, because they're working hard to influence others to make the change you want to see also. So recognize those people. That helps, because as those people get recognized for doing something, other people are going to want to get recognized and they're going to want to be doing similar things, right? So it helps enforce the behavior of the change agent as well as everyone else as we recognize them. Another thing you can do is tie your daily activities to the values of your team or your organization. Hopefully you as a team, as a ministry, have values that you can articulate and say, we stand for this. This is really important to us. And you know what? We do these particular things on a daily basis, these activities, because they clearly represent our values. And if you can tie the things you do on a daily basis to the values that are important to you, that makes those activities even more impactful and important and powerful to people in understanding why they're doing those activities. Oh yeah, we do that because it represents this value that we stand for. So people need to know what values you stand for as a ministry, and they need to know how what you do represents and reinforces those values. So you need to be communicating those things. Another thing you can do is to stress your vision and values with new staff. Really important as you bring new staff in on board, you need to provide good orientation. And one of the things you want to start with is making sure your new staff clearly know and understand what your vision and purposes of your ministry and what values you represent as a ministry. We need to catch people early on when they're brand new staff and ingrain this in them right away, so that they take on and become a part of our vision and values from the beginning. Because if they don't, you may have problems with them in the longer run. So make sure you stress those things with new staff right at the beginning. And one other thing you can do to help institute cultural change is to make sure you continue to have the right change agents or influencers that built that guiding coalition, right? Make sure you continue to have the right people who are excited and positive about the change and good influential people to others about the change. If some people become sour on the change, you don't want to be using them as a change agent anymore. More often, what happens is we lose change agents. They leave the ministry. They are no longer in the picture for whatever reason. Make sure you replace them with other people who are similarly passionate and influential about the change as well. These are just examples of ways to institute a cultural change. But you'll find, again, getting people to do something once is great, but that is not actually making a long-term change. We need to make a long-term change in people's behaviors, in their hearts, in the way that they think and act and work. And that is more of a cultural change, getting them to change their mindset. And that's what instituting cultural change is about, is getting people to work towards a change in the long run for a sustained period of time.